Hebrew has two basic ways of saying no or not. There are a variety of other ways that can get that same basic message across, but the specific words no or not, there's two basic ways of saying it. And these two words, called the negative particle, or particles, I guess, are lo and al. And they each function in different ways in Hebrew syntax. And I'll try and go over at least a few of the ways that they function. But lo and al are the negative particles, and they both communicate just a general negation as a way of saying there is not something, or something is, so you could say something is good, and then you could say something is not good, or you could say something is high, and you could say something is not high, or whatever. So there's a sort of general negation function that they have, but then they also function with verbs as communicating prohibition against doing certain things or being certain ways. But first, let's just talk about the general negation. And so we'll talk about the word lo, which is more common than al. The first thing to know is how it's spelled. The negative particle lo is spelled lamed aleph with a hole in between, lamed aleph, which is not the same as the word, actually the two words that make lo, which is the preposition lamed and the third masculine singular suffix hu, or him. To him is what this would say, and this says no. So oftentimes you'll have a phrase like vayomer lo, and he said lo. So you're wondering, did he not say, or did he say to him? Well, pretty much 10 out of 10 times it's going to be this lo and not this lo. So make sure you remember how it's spelled. Lamed aleph is lo. Lamed holem vav is lo, to him. Okay, so again, the same words are used whether they're saying the word no or they're saying the word not. It's either lo or al. And al, it's good to differentiate al from the preposition. So al is aleph lamed. It's just the reverse. Lamed aleph, aleph lamed. The preposition al is ayin lamed. Al levavecha. That's ayin. That's more like al, from here in the throat. Al, levavecha, and al. So with regard to lo here, the more common, to negate something, lo would be used, and it usually, in terms of Hebrew word order and syntax, lo is usually going to come before the idea or the quality or the action that it's going to be negating. And I've written a couple of examples here on the board. I'll just walk you through. So the first one here is very simple. Comes from Genesis 2, lo tov. Lo tov. Not good. Okay? It really functions exactly the same way here in Hebrew as it does in English. Lo, not, tov, good, not good. This is talking about it was not good for the man to be alone. Here in Exodus 7:13, it says, lo yishma, which you may notice here, got our third masculine singular prefix. The root is shin, mem, ayin, which you know as Shema. So this is the third masculine singular imperfect form. Lo yishma. He did not hear. He did not hear. So this is just a general negation. This isn't a prohibition now, just a negation. He did not hear or listen. Maybe listen actually is better. Alechem. Alechem. This is, actually this sounds like this al, but it's the preposition el. El, which is spelled the same. Aleph Lamed, but usually has segol. Here, because of the addition of the suffix, it takes a composite shva vowel. Lo yishma alechem, to them, paro, Pharaoh. Pharaoh did not listen to them. Of course, talking about Moses and Aaron trying to let the Israelites go from Egypt. Pharaoh rather did not listen to them. Okay, so just a general negation. It's not saying do not listen. It's just saying he didn't. He didn't listen. Not he listened. Literally is what not he listened. Which is because the pronoun is a part of the verb. So in translation, you have to say he did not listen, right? Actually, this verse, the context of this verse, I believe, is either God speaking to Moses or Moses to the people. But I think God to Moses saying, he will not listen to you. Pharaoh will not listen to you because it's an imperfect here. So it's not that he didn't, it's that he won't. He will not listen to you. And finally, we have this beautiful phrase from Psalm 115. I wrote it down here in its entirety because you know almost all the words. And so I thought it might be fun to see it all written out. Lo lanu Adonai. Lo, of course, not. Lanu, if you have here the preposition lamed and the suffix nu from anachnu. So not to us. Lo lanu Adonai. Lo lanu. Not to us, O Lord, not to us. Ki here is functioning as a shift, saying not to us, but rather, but leshimcha. Le, again, is our preposition, lamed, to. Shimcha is shem, name. Shimcha is your name. Ki leshimcha, but to your name. 10 is the imperative of the verb natan, which is to give. Ki leshimcha, 10 kavod, but to your name give glory. Al, with an ayin, right? An ayin here, not, this is not the negation, this is the preposition. And here it doesn't necessarily mean upon, but rather about or concerning. So, ki leshimcha 10 kavod, but to your name give glory, concerning or about or because of, in a sense, because of hasdecha, hesed, because of your love. Ellen Davis, the Old Testament scholar at Duke Divinity School, translates hesed as love in action. Love in action. It's not an ideology. It's not a state of mind. It's not a beautiful vision, but rather hesed is the very manifestation of God's covenantal, sacrificial, self-offering love, kenotic love, Philippians 2 kind of love, actually. Um, but to your name give glory concerning or because of your love in action, uh, and because of amitecha, your truth. Emet is the word truth, because of your love in action, and because of your truth. So it's just a beautiful prayer, a beautiful confession of who God is, and what our responsibility is. Lo lanu Adonai, lo lanu ki lishimcha.